Who's excited to be here today? That's good. That's good. Here in just a little bit, we're going to have an incredible celebration. In total, across both services today, we have 20 people that are getting baptized. And 12 of them are getting baptized here in a little bit in this service. And so we are excited to celebrate life change through baptism. And I know some of you are friends and family that have come to support loved ones. And man, we are so glad that you are here. But before we jump into that celebration, we're going to take a pause. We've been in this series called Meltdown. We're going to pause and not have a meltdown today. And we're actually going to kind of focus some attention towards one of our Christmas offering initiatives for the next few moments. The Christmas offering is Sunday, December 10th. Rice City, who's excited about this year's Christmas offering? Everything given is given away. And we have 4 specific initiatives that we are highlighting this year. We've looked at 2 of them so far. The first is your nominations, where we're encouraging you to nominate people and organizations that you see and believe could really benefit from an extra blessing this time of year. And so you can go online to nominate now. And 100 nominees will receive checks in the mail. The second of those initiatives we looked at last week, we're calling it As Yourself, which is we're going to have a day set aside in the spring. And on that day, we're going to be going out throughout the entire community and doing different random acts of kindness. And then today, the initiative that we're going to focus in on isn't here locally, but it's actually all the way overseas in the country of India. And this morning, we are so blessed and privileged to have Pastor Shankar here with us, who is from Mumbai. And I am excited to be able to have a conversation with him to share just what God is doing in and through that ministry, through his life, and the ways that we at Rise City can partner. And through this year's Christmas offering, just see a lot of impact come from your generosity. And so, man, it is seriously, it's such a joy, and I hope that you are ready to just hear how God is moving and working in big ways over in India. But if you would you please take a moment just to welcome to the stage Pastor Shankar. And here he is. And come on up. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. Everybody say, hey, Shankar.
Hi everyone.
You're friends. There you go. Shankar, let's take a moment just to start by introducing yourself to us. Tell us a little about yourself, family, kids. What's your story there?
Thank you so much for having me, Brandon. And it's a privilege to be here. Such a blessing. Nice weather like Mumbai. I was in Seattle, so it was very cold for me, but I feel like a home here.
That's
Thank
good.
you so much.
That's good.
So my name is Shankar, and I'm from Mumbai, born and brought up in Mumbai. It's a big city. 27 million people lives in Mumbai, in one city. And
27 million. Perspective, right? LA is like 7 or 8 million. So you think our traffic's bad, right?
And 60% of the population lives in a slum. Slum is not like what you think. It's totally different. It's people share their wall, flooding, no electricity. So a lot of problems people live with. So I live with my wife, Esther. I'm married almost like 22 years. Yeah.
There you go. Congratulations.
And I have a son named Enoch. He's 19 years old, and my daughter Zoe, she's 14. So, yeah.
But they're not here with you on this trip, right?
No.
Yeah. So maybe let us just kind of in on how you came to this place. I know that just listening to your story, you haven't been a follower of Jesus your entire life. And God has really, in a radical way, changed your life. And so would you be willing just to share for a few minutes just kind of your story of how you met Jesus to bring you to the place you are today?
I come from Banjara background. They're known as a gypsy in India. Gypsy, Roma gypsy, and Indian gypsy, they have the same DNA. One of the largest illiterate group in India, over 80 million, those gypsy people, those Roma gypsy in India. And I come from same background. There was a reason behind following Jesus. So I lost my dad when I was just 3 years old. And when I was 8, my mom, she abandoned us with uncle and auntie. She left us. So my older sister and my younger brother, we started living with our uncle and auntie. I can't say they were not good with us, but they also had their children. So they gave priority to their children. So whatever they were poor, and whatever they got, they gave to their children. And I remember that my auntie, she used to hide food from us that to give her children first. So we really had a very rough life. Slept without food for many days. Uh, Used to get only peanuts sometime to like that's only like a meal for us. So my sister, she was 13, started working. She left her school. There was not much finance, so money we have had that can support our school. So my sister and my brother, both they left their school. My sister was 13 years old, and she started working in fishing industry, cleaning fish. And she used to get very little, and whatever she used to get food for us. I still remember, like, I used to wait outside the restaurant, and I used to see that if any family or people are coming out and getting any leftover food, so I'm just waiting for that to eat. But you know uh, but it was very challenging. I i had a desire that I wanted to continue my education. So I started working when I was 12 years old. So started cleaning office, started cleaning vessels, and I used to get like less than a $2 a month, paid for my my backpacks or my uniform, whatever. Like nothing comes into dollar. So uh, one day I like in a whole year I used to get only one set of uniform. So, and in a whole year, I used to wash my own clothes. We don't have washing machine. We now we do, but previously we there was no washing machine. So I used to clean my clothes. So one day I wanted to go to school, and I didn't found my shirt. So I found one of my cousin's shirt. It was torn one side. There was no slip, so it was torn from one side. I wore that shirt because I had I was scared with my teacher because he was very strict if we made absence. So he used to beat like anything. So I wore that shirt and went to school, and I sat little twisted in my on my bench. So my teacher, he asked me, why you are sitting like this? So he asked me to stand up. When I stood, the whole class laughed on me, and I felt such embarrassed. It was such embarrassing moment for me. Uh, Problems I have seen, sleeping like almost like we had a very small house, 10 by 10 square foot, very small. Uh, Almost like 17 people used to live in that house. 18 years.
17 people
17
in a
people.
10 by 10.
10 by 10 square foot. 18
Can you
years.
tell that to my kids sometime? That'd be great. That would help them. No.
18 years I slept on the street. So there was no place at home. So 18 years I slept on the street. During the rain, I used to scroll myself in a plastic. I have experienced all cat, rat, bugs, and everything. So very challenging to live. You lost your father, your mom abandoned, not having food, not having money. Nothing was there. And when I was 16 years old, I heard about my mom that she has married someone. So in our culture, even the women are widow, getting married with someone is a shameful thing. Yeah, it's some other man, it's a shameful thing. So I heard about my mom that she got married with some man, and my neighbors and all my community people started, my friends, they started abusing me. Your mom has done something bad, and I was like I was in such a depression, and that time I decided that I will kill my mom. I want to kill my mom and then I will finish myself. And the whole story I wanted to close. Uh, there was a reason that what we have gone through. So I was started thinking about how to kill my mom. I don't want to see her face. I don't want it to her to leave because she spoiled everything in our life. I don't wanted her to see anymore. I was thinking and I was planning to kill her, and trying to get, a knife or anything. If she comes front of me, just want to finish her. And then I wanted to finish my life. So I was crying at the same street where I used to sleep. And it, in my thoughts, I want to kill her. I want to kill her. She has spoiled our life. I want to kill her. Then somebody came besides me, and he shared me about Jesus.
Wow.
And he told me that Shankar, he knew me, he knew about me, about my family, and he told me that please come to church one Sunday. I'm a very strong follower of Hindu God. I used to keep fasting every Monday. Even in such a young age, every Monday I used to keep fasting for snake god and every Saturday for monkey god. But nothing happened. So this friend of mine, he said that, please come. So that was on Thursday. He shared me about Jesus. I thought Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I have 3 days in my hand. If nothing happens in my life, I will stick with my plan, I will kill my mom and then finish myself. Very first Sunday I went to church, the whole thing got changed. you know, uh, During the praise and worship, I felt such a supernatural power. I started crying. I was literally crying and felt such a supernatural power in my heart. I felt that some heavy things has gone from my heart. And I saw very clear vision that Jesus came and gave me tight hug. I still feel that. And he told me that I'm your father and I'm your mother and I will take care of you. And that day, the whole thing has changed.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. you know, I come from very religious background and following Jesus was not easy for me. My uncle and aunt, they came about, that I'm going to church, and they stopped me going to church. They used to keep food front of me and used to ask me, you want Jesus or you want food? I was 16 years old that time. And I told them I want Jesus. I don't want your food.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
God radically
yeah.
stepped in your life when you were about ready to take 2 lives, your mother and your own.
Yeah.
And wow, that is so moving and so incredible. Will you share with us just a little bit more? You've started to allude to it, but just kind of the religious climate. What is it like in India, particularly where you're at with in Mumbai, the Bajara people, as you mentioned? Just kind of what is the religious climate there for those who are born Hindi but make the choice to become a follower of Jesus?
India, if you have heard, India is going through a lot of persecution. It's under heavy persecution now. Out of 30 states, out 6 states, they have passed anti-conversion law. So we cannot share Jesus. If we do, then they will put in the jail. So in North India, especially in Uttar Pradesh, they have shut down all the house churches. And now if you're a registered organization, so you can meet in the church, if you're a registered organization, but you cannot meet anymore like a home churches and any other places in UP, in North India. India has a 70% Hindu people. We have a caste system in India, the higher caste. They just ruling over the low caste people. We still have a honor killing in India. I just like to share a story in Madhya Pradesh, one of the states in India. One of the boy is getting mad. He's getting his during his wedding. So he's from low caste, Dalit, and he's during his wedding. Uh, he was taking a ride on chariot, the horse riding, and some high caste people they saw him and they shoot him because the high caste people they think the low caste people don't have rights to ride to take a ride on a horse or chariot because they are from low caste. So it's still happening in India. The scenario is very tough. It's not easy to share gospel. We do a lot of training. We do over 100 trainings in India every month. So, and we rent a place, like a conference hall, hotels, we bring our pastors. In Orissa, we were having our conference, and the hotel manager asked us, give each and every details of your pastors, the people are coming from, and why you are meeting here. So it's not like anymore that we are preaching open gospel. So like a crusade. In some state we do, but it's not like before we used to. So we are more underground churches now. It's a friendship evangelism. In North India, they are destroying churches. In North India, they are killing pastors. If you have heard about Manipur, Manipur used to be a Christian state in India, a 95% Christian state. The communal violence has gone. The two religious groups, they started fighting with each other. The whole Manipur fully destroyed. The government plans something, it's fully destroyed. Not even a single church is Manipur now.
Wow.
So a lot of things are happening. It's not easy to take baptism. So we don't give baptism.
This is interesting. Make sure to listen because we have baptisms today. And he was sharing this with me, and I was like, yeah, this is a little bit different experience than what the people getting baptized here are going through.
So if anyone wants to take baptism, he must be 18 years old. He must be adult. So even though he is adult, he has to go to the court and make a declaration with the government that he's free will, he's taking the baptism. And he has to notarize that documents and submit to the church, and then only he can take the baptism. Otherwise, we don't give baptism. So it's illegal to give baptism if he don't make any kind of documents from the government. So
and you shared with me also, right? Because when you change that notion of Hindi to Christian, it's not just a religious affiliation; it's a citizenship.
Yeah,
and it changes your place in the caste system, and essentially you no longer have any benefit, correct?
Yeah. So government has some benefit for the low caste people. It's not a big benefit, but they get like admission in colleges and some kind of scholarships that they get. So my son, Banjara, they are from the low caste. So my son want to get the admission in an engineering college in India. And I'm Christian. He's Christian now, and we submitted his document. The government said, the college said, no, we need 150,000 bribes if you want to get your son to get admission in this college. So we lose all our benefits to become a Christian. So a lot of sacrifice is not easy over there. So a lot of sacrifice we have to make to follow Jesus.
Wow. Yeah, you were sharing with me too, like you have to notify banks, and your banking institutions know if you've changed, and then it becomes more surveillance.
Yeah,
and I mean, it is counting the cost big time.
We have to mention our religious when we open our bank account. So we are like a Christian, Hindu. My name, Shankar, is a Hindu name, belongs to Hindu God. And I didn't change my name because I want to witness my people. So wherever I go, when I, that any documents they mention religious, and my name is Hindu, and when I mention my religious is Christian, so people they people they see me very different way. So
Wow.
yeah.
Shankar, share with us for a few minutes, with this year's Christmas offering, we were wanting to help support some of the things that are going on through you in the ministry that you lead, the Banjara Global Ministries. Can you share for a few minutes, like what are some of the ways what are some of the things the ministry does,
Yeah.
some of your focuses, and just how God is working in and through that ministry?
Yeah. So as I mentioned that, God called me to reach my own people. Banjara, they are one of the largest unreached group. They comes under unreached group and one of the largest illiterate group. Over 80 million in India. They are spread it all over in India. They are nomadic people. 80% people, they are settled down in India, but still they migrate from one place to another place to get some kind of a job. Uh, their per day income is less than $3 a day, mainly involved in fishing occupation. They clean fish and labor work. Family numbers like 8 or 10 people in a family having 4 to 5 children. Very religious, very cultural people. They don't have their written language yet. Even such an old community, we don't have Bible in our language. And we have only oral language. We speak same language, and we live in a different states, spread it all over in India. They don't prioritize their children for education. So if they have money, they will provide education to their boys, but not their girls. So we are male dominating community. So God gave me burden to reach my people. I do work majorly among the Banjara, but I do have a work among different other low caste community. When we wanted to, begin our ministry, when I become Christian, I started sharing gospel to my friends, my family, neighbors, and there is a big community living in a Mumbai. Over 200,000 people lives in a one slum, around 4 miles square feet. That's all.
And just for visual, like if you are familiar with the Oscar movie Slumdog Millionaire from years ago, this is the area he's talking about. This is where Shankar is from.
Yeah. Right? And 200,000 people lives in one slum. They don't even have a 200 toilet seat. So the life is not easy over there, living in like a family, staying in like even they sleep like a sandwich, they're in their home. Children, you talk about the children, they don't know what is how the toys looks like. They never play with toys. They play in the garbage and in other things. So it's really hard people to survive. So when I started sharing gospel, and people told me, Shankar, don't come here. If you come and share about Jesus, we'll kill you. Okay, better to don't come here. So I started praying and I asked Lord, please, I want to reach these people with the gospel. And 2001, God significantly provided some resources. And that was like for a school. And we began with the school. We invited 50 children, mostly girls. And through that school, we are able to connect with children and then able to connect with parents. And we started free education and providing free meal. There was a reason providing meal. That is the only meal those children used to get, because both parents, they were working and they'd leave their children at home. The older were taking care of the younger one. So that's the only meal they used to get whole day, in a whole day. So we started providing meal. At the same time, we invited parents, how their children are doing and how, they are learning. And at the same time, we share the gospel. almost past 20 years. That's the first slum we began our ministry. Almost like a 20 years, we have baptized more than 3,000 people from that particular slum. That's one slum.
3,000.
3,000, more than 3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the children from that batch, 2001, 2002, 3, 4, they are pastors and leaders in your church now. Yeah. And some of them are working in a good corporate area and returning to their community. We have reached over 10,000 children, almost like a
10,000 children.
More than 10,000 children, almost 20 years. That school become one of our entry point to reach out our people. Now begin with one slum. Now we are working over 300 slums and villages. We started with Mumbai. We are working in 20 states of India. We began ministry with few people, young people. Now we are providing training to more than 15,000 pastors and house church leaders in those 20 states. So
15,000.
Yeah, 15,000 pastors and house leaders. That number looks big. Where I'm passionate about disciple making. And I love to mentor people. Disciple making is for me is not just a teaching or training, it's a lifestyle. So we believe relationship, in relationship. We believe in mentoring, as I mentioned, Dan Spader's his book, like investing in few to reach many. And that's really so important. And Jesus, he fed 5,000. But he gave his best to 12. And, so that's the really, it made a great impact when we began with a small group. So I started investing in 45, my master trainer. Those 45, each of them have 15 local pastors and then 10 to 15 house church leaders. They are mentoring, they are investing in them. And those 15, they have each of those pastors, each of them have 10 local pastors and 10 house church leaders. We are in the 5th generation of disciple making. And this year we have 700 children, 5 schools, and almost like 200 children in soccer ministry, and especially girls, what we are doing. So God is doing amazing work.
I applaud that. It is,
yeah.
And just to kind of, because Shankar is so humble, let me just kind of summarize. So this ministry is meeting the needs of 700 children with schools and other needs. They're empowering women, particularly the mothers, to help them provide for their families, provide trades for them to start to learn and work so they can help. Beginning to disciple these kids, these women, their fathers, they become Christians. They make disciples who make disciples who make disciples. They eventually become pastors, and they start to equip these pastors and send them out. And so as we were starting to talk and starting to do the numbers and say, okay, wait a minute, so you're overseeing these 45 master trainers, and they're overseeing these 45 and this, and there's this many home churches, and each home church has 10 people, and then they all gather together, and then there are 50 people, and you're now in 20 of 30 states in India, and we're I'm like, Shankar, you're pastoring 300,000 people. And he was just yeah. I was like, what? I was like, I got gray hair with 1,500 people, bro. You're looking good. I mean, it truly is incredible the way the gospel is bearing fruit and working. And thank you for the way in which you are a part of that, Shankar.
Thank you so much. One of the things that, we used to give tracts, previously to share the gospel. But, God, we are trying our best to use each and every possibility where we can reach people. So the church from Kentucky, they started sending their doctors, and they started providing medical training to our pastors. It's the basic medical trainings, pastors and their wife. So temperature checking, wound care, and blood pressure checking. And that's become an outreach point now. People are just, our pastors and their wife, they goes house to house and checking blood pressure, and at the same time praying and sharing gospel to them. So we are not missing a single opportunity to to reach out our people. So it's like, don't afraid what's happening in India. It's heavily persecuted, like, many places. They are killing pastors. Just to share you one story, in Orissa, a boy, it's a 22 years old boy, having a great faith in Jesus. The Hindu people, they saw him, they killed him, they chop his body, and they just throw in a different places. And police does nothing with the, they will not complain, they will not file any case and anything. But the kingdom work is growing. It's not going down, it's multiplying. We are seeing, that's why if I'm saying 15,000, we are doing training with 15,000 pastors and house church leader. More than 30,000 people, they have accepted Christ this year. So it's happening, one at a time, that's all. We encourage our people to do that and seeing each and every possibility that we can reach our people, building our relationship. Like, if I say 15,000 pastors and house church leader, you count 8,000 to 9,000 women, they are doing training additionally in that.
Wow.
So equally, that men and women equally involved in those disciple-making program and the church planting, what they do, each and every ministry. So women are equally involved in our ministry.
Wow. Share just for a moment, and then we'll get ready to wrap up. But in the first service, you used that imagery of a bed bug.
Yeah.
Share that with them, because this was. I was like, what did you just say?
Yeah. India is heavily persecuted. It's many states, and we don't afraid. Indian Christians, we don't afraid, but we ask God to give us strength to face that persecution. So I consider that Indian Christians are like a bed bugs. So if you kill one, we will multiply. So we don't, so we believe that persecution sometimes God sends to multiply, his people. So we praise God for persecution, and ask your prayer, God to give us strength to face that.
Wow. So now we have a new kind of metaphor to live by. What does it look like to be a bed bug for Jesus? Well, as I mentioned, we're hoping through the Christmas offering to significantly support what God is doing through this ministry in reaching children, empowering women, and also equipping pastors to start churches. And so I just want to encourage us as a congregation, hopefully you can get a chance to hear firsthand what God is doing, to pray how we could be just incredibly generous on that day, on December the 10th. And we're planning not just to have this one-time kind of giving partnership, but to continue and build a great lasting relationship, to see God just keep doing great work both here, but also there in India. And so we're really thankful for you being here today. And we would
Thank you so much, Brandon.
Just love to be able to pray for you and pray for what God's doing in and through your ministry. And then after I pray, we're also then going to celebrate. They've baptized 3,000. We're going to baptize 12. That's okay. They all matter significantly in the kingdom, right?
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get to hear the stories of those getting baptized, and then we're going to celebrate that together. But if you would you join with me? I want to pray for Shankar, and just so honored to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Brandon. It's such an honor to be here and your church. So thankful for Rise City Church, what you are doing for us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. This man is marked with such great boldness, but yet unbelievable humility, a lot like Jesus. So, God, we thank you. Thank you for Shankar. Thank you for Global Banjara Ministries. God, thank you for the children that they have been able to minister to, and those children, God, through receiving the ultimate food, the bread of life through Christ, God, following you, becoming disciples of you, becoming pastors, telling others about you, leading in the school, sharing in the slums. God, the women that have been raised up and not neglected and looked over, but God, now empowered and honored and given dignity. And God, just the tens of thousands, God, of just people leading house church movements there and collectively seeing the kingdom of God move in India. We thank you for that. And God, it's a little foreign, not little, it's a lot foreign to us, Lord, here in the United States. And so, God, we are thankful for the freedom that we do have, but Lord, help us be inspired today just to see what it really looks like, God, to say yes to Jesus and lay it on the line. And I pray, God, that we as a church would rise up collectively and literally, God, just give God, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars to this endeavor. And Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to connect lives and ministries and to see, God, just you work in a mighty way. Thank you, God, for those that are getting baptized now. We're celebrating the stories being told and the lives being changed. And God, just, continue to move in our hearts. And we thank you. And we praise in Jesus' name. And all God's people said, Amen. Can we say thank you once more to
Thank
Pastor
you so much. Thank you.
Shankar.